Assalamualaikum and hi to our lecturer, Madam Asha binti Abdullah Sani and my fellow friends. So today, my group Ariffuddin bin Muttalib, Irda Natassha binti Herman, Raja Nashafarina Arianny and I, Faez Nordayini binti MAF651, will be presenting about a topic just in time. Let's start with supply chain management. So, what is supply chain management? Okay, supply chain management is the management of the flow of goods and services and includes all processes that transform from raw material into final products. It involves an active streamlining of a business supply side activities to maximize customer value and gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Alright, moving on into the next slide, which is how supply chain management works. Change management job is centrally control or link the production, shipment and distribution of a product. Companies are able to cut excess costs and deliver products to their consumer faster. This is done by keeping tighter control of internal inventories, internal protection, distribution sales, and the inventories of the company vendors. There are three important of supply chain management, which are reduce operating costs, improve customer service, and improve financial position. So, for reduce operating costs, firstly, decrease purchasing costs. What does it mean by decrease purchasing costs? It is that mostly organizations prefer to not have a large or costly products of raw material in their inventory. This is to avoid having a large number of inventory in their statements. Therefore, with purchasing management, they can reduce the purchasing costs. Secondly, decrease production costs. Mostly, organization wants to deliver the products right to assembly because if let's say there is any delay, they don't have to contribute more production costs. Alright, the second point is the importance of supply chain management is improve customer service. So, the first point of customer service is customer wants right quantity and quality, meaning that they want the product that they ordered are in the right quantity and expected quality. Secondly, it is on-time delivery. Obviously, no customers wants to wait for the products to arrive, right? Thus, in achieving the expectancy of customer, companies should have a reliable supply chain management. Alright, thirdly is after sales service. If let's say there is a problem occurs to the customer regarding their purchases, obviously the customers wants the company to react and reply them quickly. So moving to the next point is improve financial position. The first point for this improve financial position is profit leverage. Company can achieve additional profit leverage by applying supply chain management in their organization. This improves their profit by not spending on the unnecessary expenditure and stumble upon any unnecessary costs. Second point is decrease fixed asset. If let's say the company is applying one of the supply chain management process, meaning the company can decrease their fixed asset such as furniture, plant, and also their vehicles. This helps to reduce the usage of fixed asset. The third point is increase in cash flow. With all the costs that they manage to save, the company can ensure that they have a consistent cash flow. So this will affect the production rate and the production flow to the customers. Alright, now I'm gonna explain about the elements of supply chain management. Here are 5 of them, which are planning, sourcing, manufacturing, delivery, and returns. The first one is planning. Planning is developing an overall strategy for the supply chain and imperative to control inventory and manufacturing processes. The next one is returns. It is a post-delivery customer support process that is associated with all kinds of return products, also known as reverse logistics. Returns happen when there is a defect of the item so they can return to the company back. The third one is sourcing. Identifying vendors who will procure goods and services to meet planned demand in the most economical and efficient way. Alright, so let's continue with the elements. The fourth one is manufacturing. Manufacturing means that the company will perform all the activities using the raw materials to produce the finished product. Feedbacks from consumers can improve the company's production operations continuously, which is the feedback from the finished product that they bought from the company. The last element is delivery. It means the finished products must meet the expectations of the consumers in terms of delivery and logistics service. There will also the need for space for storage to keep the inventory until the time of delivery. Okay, now I'm gonna explain the material requirements planning, also known as MRP, is a computer-based inventory management system designed to improve productivity for business. MRP objective is to estimate quantities of raw materials and schedule their deliveries. It can also convert into a list of requirements for the sub-assemblies component parts and raw materials that are needed to produce the final product within the established schedule. This, which is MRP, can help companies' production efficiency in the long run. Next is Enterprise Resource Planning, also known as ERP. ERP is a process used by companies to manage and integrate the important parts of their businesses. It also helps implement resource planning by integrating all of the process needed to run by the companies with a single system. It can also integrate planning, purchasing, inventory, sales, marketing, finance, and human resource. Now, I will pass to the next presenter, which is Irda Natassha. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to my lecturers and friends. I am Irda Natassha and I will be explaining about the concept of just-in-time. At the end of the presentation, I hope that you will understand more about this topic. First of all, let's go through with the definition of JIT. JIT is a management technique that closely aligns raw material orders from manufacturers with production schedule. Companies use this inventory strategy to maximize production efficiency and minimize waste by reserving goods only as required for the manufacturing process, which will lower the inventory cost. This approach requires that the producer accurately forecast demands. We move to the history of just-in-time. Just-in-time is a Japanese management philosophy which has been applied in practice since the early 1970s in many Japanese manufacturing organizations. It was first developed within the Toyota manufacturing plants by Taichi Ohno as a means of meeting consumer demands with minimum delays. For this reason, Taichi Ohno is frequently referred to as the father of just-in-time. Next, we have discovered the objective of just-in-time, which are zero inventories and also zero purchases. So one of the objectives is to reduce or eliminate the storage of inventories. In the old manufacturing production system, the raw material is purchased, products or goods are produced and stored. This concept will cost a lot of money to store not only raw material but also to store finished goods. The production process is quite slow as the company might not be seeking a new way to improve the process. Therefore, just-in-time tries to overcome this problem. The production are processed only if they are ordered from customers. In implementing the just-in-time, the material is not going to be purchased if there are no production. Unlike the old system, the raw material is purchased as the result of production forecasting demand and productions. The company's old system normally has low networking with suppliers, and most of the raw material required during the year are purchased in advance and spends a lot of money to space on storing the raw material. Just-in-time system is trying to overcome this by making sure that there is a good relationship with their suppliers. However, to meet this objective, the company that implements just-in-time needs to build a perfect relationship with their suppliers. In other words, the supplier could access the company's system to understand the demand. Otherwise, suppliers might not be able to supply the raw material on time and as required. Now, let's go through one by one of each element of just-in-time. The first one is eliminating waste. Basically, just-in-time aims to improve effectiveness and efficiency of the production process in reducing the non-value-added activities. There are several ways that can be prevented. One of them is waste of overproduction, waste of waiting time, transportation waste, inventory waste, and many more. The next element of just-in-time is continuous improvement. In just-in-time, existing problems are being corrected and new problems are identified. This has been explained further in the concept of Kaizen, where it has reduced the inventory, cost, machine setup time, and preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance meaning that the machine can be operated whenever it is needed. It is important for a company to continuously improve to maintain the competitiveness in the market. Other than that is employee involvement. People involvement and employees empowerment are very important in just-in-time. This is because employees' knowledge and experience has been used in order for the company to understand the production of the company. Hence, the production can be moved and can be performed optimally. Employees also are being treated with respect, and it can motivate them to produce innovative ideas so they could improve their production system. In understanding better in just-in-time, employees are involved closely during the production of the product. Lastly, total quality management. It is a very important element due to gaining customer satisfaction, and it also can improve their internal practices between employees. Every employee involved in the process of production is accountable and managed to gain more quality over the cost of production. Moving on to the next part of the presentation, there are some advantages and disadvantages of just-in-time. The pros of the just-in-time system is there will be a waste reduction. This happens because the stock is only available when there is a demand. This could prevent the stock from becoming damaged and obsolete while being kept in the storage. Again, this saves money by avoiding the purchase of unneeded inventory and minimizing the need to replace existing inventory. Another pros of using just-in-time is there will be less space needed. Companies do not need a lot of warehouse or storage space to store the goods or materials. In the end, this will lower the quantity of storage space the company needed to rent or acquire. The last pros that we could provide is there will be a smaller investment needed. Just-in-time inventory management is a great option for small manufacturing companies who do not have the resources to buy a large quantities of goods at all once. They may have a healthy and steady cash flow by ordering stock supplies just when they are needed. Now, I will explain to you the disadvantages of just-in-time. The first one is there is a risk of running out of stock. Companies that use just-in-time production do not have as much inventory on their hands. This is due to the fact that they base their stock on demand estimates, and if those estimates is inaccurate, they will not have the required amount of product available for their customers. Next, just-in-time requires companies to understand sales trend and variance in close detail. Many businesses have seasonal sales seasons, which mean that a lot of goods may require more inventory to meet customer demands. As a result, they need to prepare more to ensure that suppliers are able to fulfill their requirements. Lastly, lack of control over the time frame may have occurred. Companies need to rely on the timelessness of the supplier for each order. Customers may shift their business if the company fails to match their expectations. This is why it is important to choose reliable suppliers and have a strong relationship with them in order to ensure the material needed to meet the customer demands.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Irda Natassha and I will proceed to explain about JIT production system. JIT production system, also known as lean manufacturing and sometimes referred to as the Toyota production system (TPS). JIT production system is a subsystem controlled by Kanban. The Kanban is an inventory control JIT production system has been erected based on the premise of minimizing work-in-process inventories by reducing or eliminating discrete batches. In a pull system, removing an end item triggers the order release, by which the flow of materials or components is initiated. In contrast, push system allow for the production or material flow in anticipation of future demand. Here, a Kanban system is referred to as pull system because the Kanban is used to pull parts to the next production stage only when they are needed. Now, let's take a look at the strategies in implementing the JIT production. The following practices are considered essential for a comprehensive JIT implementation. The first one is the uniform production, or also known as Heijunku. Heijunku is a Japanese word that means leveling. When implemented correctly, Heijunku elegantly and without haste helps the organization meet the demand while reducing the waste in production and interpersonal processes. According many lean experts, Heijunku is better achieved at a later stage implementation in a lean organization. The second one is small lot sizes. Small lot production describes the manufacture of a small number of items of the same type and design. The production run varies from between 3 and 100 items. Unlike the industrial mass production, products are made in a small number for a very limited market only. The production are considered more expensive. Next, multifaceted workforce. The fourth one is short lead times. Short lead times mean you operate with a smaller inventory volume to meet the customer demand. And lastly, the supplier development. Supplier development is closely related to the supplier relationship management and is the process of working with a certain supplier on a one-to-one basis to improve their performance for a benefit of the buying organization. Next, JIT purchasing. JIT purchasing is an approach to inventory management which products are bought in small quantities to reduce the store inventory carrying costs. JIT requires that the right materials are provided to workstation at the right time. The function of purchasing is to provide a firm with a component parts and raw materials. In the next slide, we can see the strategies in implementing JIT purchasing. The first one is support from top management. Implementing the JIT philosophies require a cultural change in the organization. Such a concept cannot be implemented successfully without a total support from the top management. Second, support from engineering personnel. Engineering is responsible for making technical specification for the materials a company buys. Third, cooperation from supplier. To get the supplier to cooperate requires more active and engaged working relationship with the suppliers. It also calls for a change in mindset. Encourage both buyers and suppliers to commit to a long-term pursuit of value from their collaborative relationships. And lastly, employees' readiness and support. The employees must be told beforehand about the implementation of JIT purchasing for them to get prepared. They also need guarantee that with the new system, their jobs are not to be threatened with. Here are the differences between traditional just-in-case and just-in-time system. Traditional just-in-case runs a very long production and also long and relaxed lead times. They are also responsible for the quality function of the organization. For just-in-time system, they reduce the order quantities instead. One of the most crucial elements of the just-in-time system is small lot sizes. Traditionally, long and infrequent production run have in the past has been considered beneficial for the overall productivity of a manufacturing organization. However, long production runs usually lead to high levels of raw materials and finished good inventories. Next, reduce the lead times. To be able to maintain low inventory levels, it is critical that replenishment lead times be as short as possible. It is also the responsibility of the supplier to make sure the product arrives in time.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Ariffuddin and I will take you through the next phase of the presentation. Firstly, let's look how Toyota, as the pioneer of the JIT system, uses and take advantage of the making only what is needed and what is needed and in the amount of needed into use. Toyota only produces their vehicles only when they have received their orders through the dealers. This is really beneficial as they can cut down on any unwanted or unneeded supply of their products on the market. Next, they can take advantage of the supply chain in ensuring that only the parts that are needed to manufacture vehicles are received on time. Therefore, there will be no lag time during the production process and the flow will run through smoothly. They will also do not need to keep storage of any parts that have the risk of getting faulty or broken during storage. Finally, all of their vehicles should be finished within the shortest possible period of time to fulfill their customers' order quickly. Therefore, not only they are able to meet the satisfaction level of their customers, they are also able to meet the satisfaction level of their dealers. Next, Toyota also has two different types of Kanban being used. As has been explained before, Kanban is this Japanese term for kite, where it is used to signal and trigger the production in each stage. The two types are firstly, withdrawal Kanban that details the items marked for withdrawal from the preceding step in the process, and secondly, the production ordering Kanban that details the items to be produced. It can be said that JIT system is one of the key contributors to the success of Toyota. In this slide, we can see how JIT is used in services. Firstly, it guarantees consistency in quality. By having raw materials or components to arrive just in time, they must be just right for the intended system. Therefore, any quality problems become apparent immediately because defective outputs are input into the next stage of the production process. Next, it standardizes the work method. Having a standardized method helps with the flow of the production, and this will ensure efficiency in the process. A standardized method can help companies with producing high-quality products and yet lowering the unnecessary wastage of time and cost. On top of that, it helps companies to have a closer relationship with their suppliers. This is quite an important aspect as it helps companies to ensure that all of their materials needed from the suppliers to arrive on time for the production process. Finally, a flexible workforce. To facilitate JIT, companies will have to restructure their production from rigid work lines into work-based teams. This assists in eliminating bottlenecks in process and the non-value added idle time. It also helps with motivating employees in order to always proceed and further their skills. In this slide, we are going to discuss the obstacles in converting to JIT. Firstly, management may not be fully committed to the changes. In order to fully utilize the JIT system, management must be fully committed to it. This is because JIT is a complicated process, but it outweighs the risk by bringing so many benefits to companies. Next, management may resist due to the shift of some responsibilities from the management to workers. Therefore, it is important for the management to be able to delegate and put a high amount of trust in their workers in order to make JIT work. Not being able to do this will have an effect as it will add more bureaucracy and therefore limit the full potential of JIT. Finally, suppliers may also resist this implementation. JIT needs to go hand in hand with their suppliers in order to ensure the smooth flow of the production process. So failing to work with suppliers will lead to a disaster and will give an increase in the non-value added idle time of the companies instead of reducing it. Finally, my group and I came into conclusion in regard to the just-in-time method. We concluded that JIT system emphasized on capacity utilization and minimizing the rate of defect to achieve cost reduction and excellence through continuous improvements in the operation. Thus, a supply chain is a critical factor for making JIT system successful. However, one should keep in mind that a JIT system does not adapt well to fluctuations in demand and disruptions in supply chain. Therefore, it is crucial to plan carefully to avoid disruptions in the supply chain. With that, thank you